Paul Brown said to me, son, act like you've been there before. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just barely got on the field. I hadn't been there before. So
I'm glad to be part of that trend. You know, sun's out, guns out.
How about Isaac Curtis on one side, Charlie Joyner on the other side? A lot of quarterbacks were very envious that I had those two weapons to throw to. But
now, wait a minute. Is it fair that Pat McAnally is still the sexiest guy on our team? Is that?
You got me there. You got me good.
Donald, how you gonna be in that video not represent with a chain? Your tango, man. I got mine on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's great. That's priceless.
There are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Let's put the backdrop on, Jamie. See if Marissa's okay with it.
Yeah, I got her back.
Oh, gosh.
Starting the Canadian fan club up here for you.
That is so funny.
My last touchdown, and that's what Joe Burrow's going to end up like if they don't start protecting his ass. It's going to be the next David Klingler, David Klingler stuff.
There's no Spanish-speaking people here, very few. So we, fast forward, we go to the Super Bowl in Miami, and the word was the Bengals have two big Mexican offensive linemen. They don't know how to speak Spanish. So I got down there and started doing these interviews in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, we heard you don't speak Spanish."
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? But I got on the plane one day in an all red Suge Knight suit. And boy, Joe Walters and the linemen, they destroyed me. I thought for sure I was so clean. I had some gaiters on, all red suit on. I was Suge Knight. They roasted me.
The head coach was the really the pain in the butt. The Jerry Glenn, he thought he was. If you didn't know who he was, he walked out there like he owned his stadium. And I always say, if I could get a chance to hit him on the sideline, I would.
I'm tackling your ass, Pete. I'm shoestring low on you.
But I got to tell you, you have been stepped on, son. You would have had cleats everywhere.
Well, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Yes, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Again, I got nothing from you guys.
Guys, that never gets old. I don't know. Someday we got to change that, Jamie, but I love watching that. I just have a smile on my face every time I see it. But welcome, everybody, to Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. And we have somebody missing on the screen here today. Our good friend James is out of town on a family vacation with his lovely wife, Lori, and his son, Cannon, somewhere in upstate New York, having a good time right now. So I think he's going to be out today and I think even next week. So Josh, our super collector, is going to hang with us the entire show today. So we got some really good stuff to talk about. Jamie from Canada on the screen. We got our buddy Tom, the historian, on the screen with us here, guys. So welcome everybody to the show. Good evening, guys. How you guys doing?
We're good.
No complaints. Doing well, Jimmy.
Big shoes to fill for James tonight,
Yeah. Okay.
He's more of a size 6, I think.
Oh, okay. I got this.
He's probably watching right now. He's going to probably start typing in comments here in a minute for sure. So, hey, guys, everybody, I don't know. The Reds won a game today, and they are going into the All-Star break 4 games back, and they have the Milwaukee Brewers coming into town for, I think, a 3-game series post All-Star break here. So this is exciting. The Reds and Bengals moving in the right direction, guys. So that's a big deal here in Cincinnati to see this happening right now. So good stuff. Also want to welcome our friends from Houday Nation. Always a good group of folks. They're the largest Facebook Bengals page on Facebook, man, and they do a hell of a job, and we love those guys over there. We thank you guys for supporting us and tuning in all the time and kind of promoting the show for us on Facebook. Thanks a lot to Houday Nation. Love you guys. And we have some birthday guys. We have a few birthdays, and I think everybody saw that our guy that we just spent some time with up in Canton, Willie Anderson, it's his birthday today, guys.
Nice.
Willie.
I was going to
Happy birthday to the future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's what future Ring of Honor, future Hall of Famer. I didn't have the balls enough to ask him if he was on Medicare yet, so I didn't want to do that. So he's not that old. He is not that old. So happy birthday, Big Willie. I can't wait to join you in Canton, and the rest of us join you in Canton, man, and celebrate your induction there at some point. And at some point here very soon in Cincinnati at PBS when you get inducted into the Ring of Honor as well. That'd be awesome. A couple other birthdays. Jungle Joe's better half, Marnetta Cook. It's her birthday today. And we have a very special birthday. And we met, everybody on the screen here, I know Jamie couldn't make it in, but at the Jungle to the Hall event, there was a group from Pittsburgh that came in. So there was a guy, Frank Jr. and Frank Sr. that made it in. And we want to wish happy birthday to Frank Jr., Frank Jr., who lives in the middle of Pittsburgh. Look at this stud right here.
Oh, yeah.
This stud lives in the middle of Pittsburgh, 9 years old this Tuesday coming up. And I don't know if Dad did that barber work, but that was pretty nice being inside of that helm, that head there. And here's a picture of Frank Sr. and Frank Jr. at the Jungle to the Hall event. Frank Jr., happy birthday, buddy. You keep repping the orange and black there in Pittsburgh, brother. I can't wait to spend some time with you and the fam when you come in town or when I come to Pittsburgh for a game this year. We're going to enjoy spending some time with you, buddy. But happy birthday, man.
That haircut's dedication.
Yeah. If I had hair, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would try that. So I need somebody like Hollis, an artist, to paint my head because that's the only thing I could
Why
probably
don't you
do.
just get
We could arrange that.
get outside and get like a sunburn of it.
I could. Tom, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that next week. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But happy birthday to Willie. Happy birthday to Marnetta. And happy birthday, Frank, man. We're going to have to start doing this every week. If I miss somebody, I'm so sorry. I thought I tried to cover all the bases there. But a happy birthday, everybody. I know that's an awesome thing for everybody. And guys, we had this fundraiser for, not us, but we attended a fundraiser for Sam Hubbard's foundation this past week, Thursday. And I'm going to pronounce this thing wrong, but I think it's fowling or fowling. Fowling. So I think everybody that if you don't know anything about it, it is literally you're taking a football and you're throwing it at bowling pins, like real bowling pins, set up like if you were bowling. And it sounds way easier than it is. Let me tell you, it is way tougher than what you think. There were 120 teams that participated. The people at the event said it was the largest attended tournament they've ever had.
Wow.
And guys, there was, I don't know, I'm guessing about 12 to 15 former players there. Some media folks were there for sure. Sam Hubbard and his family was there. And just a great event, man. Just a great event. I know Josh was participating in it with his wife as a partner there in the tournament. I have my buddy Dell Hall from 16 Lots and I were in it. I had two of my sons were in it. We had a bunch of folks. Tony the Tiger and Brandon were in it. We had Cookie Girl there. We had the Bengal twins there. We had, I'm going to miss somebody, Lisa and Mark there. I'm going to get in trouble for forgetting somebody's name. My wife was there. We had a bunch of people. Luke was there. We had a bunch.
Did you and Dell make the Final Four?
We did. So I just had Tommy John surgery the other day. I'm doing good. Feels good now. But so 120 teams. Dell and I made it to the Final Four. And here we have little Jim Breach, little 5'2" Jim Breach. And is it Ed or what's his name? The furniture fair guy, you know what I'm talking about? Ed. Little Ed, like Anthony Munoz and Ed, the furniture fair guy. The dude threw the ball underhand and was money. Jim Breach and Ed kicked Dell in my butt in the Final Four. I mean, we didn't even win a game. They shut us out. They got beat in the championship game, but Josh, talk about it, brother. I know I had a great time.
It was an awesome event. So I actually have a little bit of backstory on fowling because I knew nothing of it. I had to look it up. There's a great YouTube video. It's only 3 minutes long. You should check it out. It was actually invented by Detroit Lions fans. They made these bowling alleys for tailgating. They had backstops and a couple different experiments. No matter what they did, the 8-pound bowling balls rolling them were too heavy. It would break the backstop, hit somebody's car. They had a ton of issues. He's like, man, we wasted these bowling alleys that we built. So another buddy comes along, takes a sip of beer. chucks a football down there, hits some pins. They throw it back, hit some pins, and there you have it. Fowling was born. I believe from there, the Fowling Warehouse was originally in Detroit. They have one in Indianapolis and now down here in Cincinnati. I think there's 3, 4, 5 of them total in the country. I got, Jimmy invited me last week. I had no idea. That's why I looked it up. So we went. A little bit of backstory there. My wife, die hard Sam Hubbard fan. That's her guy. Jimmy said, find a partner. I was like, I already have one. She's not going to let me go without inviting her. She's got to meet Sam Hubbard. So we went, as I think Luke just wrote at the bottom of the screen. I mean, meeting Sam Hubbard is not like meeting a pro athlete. That guy is just one of the guys, one of the nicest, classiest people I've ever had the chance to meet. Without even asking him, he just started signing stuff up. He signed my wife's jersey while she was wearing it. I had one he signed. He took some pictures of himself with myself and my wife, Megan. Hollis had made a 12-inch replica figure of him that he was grateful to receive. We got to meet his family as well. Very nice family. Then we get to the actual foaling. So we're on there, and my wife and I advanced in round 1, but she didn't want to play anymore. 1 was all she had. It was very hot that day. So Brandon, my guy, he subbed with me, and it just so happens that we met Sam Hubbard and his buddy in round 2. So we actually had to play against Sam Hubbard. He played a little catch with us before the game started. The first one got through my hands and caught my body a little bit. I'm like, man, this guy's throwing heat. So we were a little bit starstruck in the first game, but we took the first game, and then Brandon carried me through the second game, and I hit the game-winning shot, and we actually eliminated Sam Hubbard from the foaling tournament. So that was a
wait a minute. Do we have any video of this?
I think I do have one, but
no video. It didn't happen unless you have video
on the internet. So I got lucky with a game-winning shot there, but we'll leave it at that.
No, the Blackburn family was there, were they not? Or
yeah, actually, I was just getting ready to say that. So it was really cool. Elizabeth and Caroline Blackburn were playing against each other, and there was a little pressure. I went over and said hi to Elizabeth, and on the other side, I was videoing Elizabeth. I wanted to just show a video of her just knocking out all the pins. She had a little stretch there when I was videoing. She didn't do too well, and she was pointing at me like, get away with the get away. And let me tell you something. Her and her sister are extremely competitive. It was fun watching them. And they were just awesome. They were around talking to folks, and it was Elizabeth and Caroline were there. There were so many other players, former players there. Great calls. I'm not sure what they wound up, grossing for the foundation that night, but I can tell you it was very well done, and there was a lot of people there supporting the cause.
A lot of great food too. Skyline Chili was involved. La Rosa's Pizza, United Dairy Farmers. I don't want to leave anyone out, but just a very awesome event.
Yeah, Gigi's Cupcakes, and it was very fun event. And again, we're going to start promoting all these player charities, the things that are going on around town. Again, just because you missed this one, not a big deal. There's going to be other stuff coming up. Let's make sure we as a fan base, I know a lot of corporations and businesses get involved in supporting these financially. We can do our own little piece as well by showing up, participating, and helping out, in any way we can. So there'll be a ton of these things. We'll make sure that we keep communicating this, as the year go on. There's going to be some other events, and actually, let's go ahead and get on to that. But the Sam Hubbard event was a great time, guys, and it was a lot of fun. I think I counted. Dell and I threw almost 28 or 29 games because we kept winning and moving on. It was half an hour, and it was as many games as you could win. Whoever had the most wins in that half an hour. Man, I'd say we played 8 games the first round. The team we were playing was really good. They kept knocking the pins down pretty quick. So my arm was sore as hell for a few days after that. But
if I could real quick, one of the best rules that I had no idea about is, because it seems simple. You're throwing, they're throwing, right? No, you have to play defense. If someone 2, 3, 4 lanes down, their ball bounces and hits your pins, that counts against you. So you're spending the whole time playing karate, kicking balls and throwing them every direction while they're flying at you, not just focusing on your competitor down the way. It's a game, man.
Interesting.
Hey, too, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but Shayne Graham will be with us here at 8:30. So we got a couple of minutes here. But the other thing too about that, so some of the other rules, the one rule is really cool, is like if you throw the football and knock the 5 pin down and no other pin gets knocked down, game over. Like you don't have to throw another ball. I did it the first time I've ever done it. It was a mistake. I wasn't even aiming for that pin, but somehow it hit that pin, knocked it down, game over. And then in the semifinals when we played Jim Breach and Ed, Jim Breach was a sniper. Let me tell you, guys, he had a cannon. He was accurate. He hit a pin every single time. And And I was messing with Jim. I was like, Jim, I mean, please tell me you used to play quarterback. He said he used to. Then at some point, somebody told him he was too small. He couldn't see over the offensive line. He couldn't play quarterback anymore. But he had a hell of an arm.
So Jim Breach is a great athlete on those 80s teams when they did Bengal golf tournaments every year. He would win the golf tournament every year. And when they go to the practice tee and have a prize for the longest drive, he was out driving the linemen. I mean, every year they would just marvel about what a great overall athlete he was.
Yeah.
It still is.
Is the fifth pin the middle pin?
Yeah.
Yes.
How the hell do you hit the middle pin and not knock anything else over?
Really? Yeah,
That's
Jimmy
why
hit it.
it's very rare.
Jimmy.
Hey, out of 120 teams and hundreds of games that night, it happened one time.
So like you knocked that pin and only that pin.
That's
Yeah,
it. Nothing else.
it can't hit any other pin. It has to be just the 5. He knocked it right on the back.
I like
it's funny, totally luck. Wasn't even trying to do it, just luck. But it's funny, you see the younger guys there just throwing like these darts, and that's not what it wins. It's about getting a little bit of an arc and hitting the pins correctly. It's not about throwing it harder, but
can the ball bounce? What if you end up short bounce? The ball can bounce.
It can bounce into the pins. But it's like Jimmy said, it's a game that like your Aunt Sally and your mom will beat you in because you're trying to, I was trying to laser throw these balls and I'm way left, way right, and then there's these women, bounce it right in. So it's a fun game that anyone can play, man. It was a great time.
Good time. Well, great foundation. That was a great time. And I know there was a lot of money raised that evening for his foundation. I know that he was very excited about the turnout. The night was amazing. The fans came out in force that night, which was really fun to see. So another charity that, one near and dear to our heart, in my heart as well, is the Ken Anderson Alliance. So there's a couple events coming up here for the Alliance, and one of them's this week, the 15th. I think that's Thursday, is an event. Basically, Ken Anderson Alliance is consolidating all their different locations into one place. They are opening up. Basically, it's the Ken Anderson Alliance, Just Brew Coffee House and building opening, basically grand opening. Basically, all their headquarters is going to be out here. They have a coffee shop. There's going to be a ribbon cutting at 10:30 Thursday morning. It's from 10 to 2. You're going to have to go online and register for one. You can do the 10 to 12 or 12 to 2, or you can be there all day, but you have to go online and register. They need more of a head count. There's going to be tours provided. There's going to be refreshments. There's going to be entertainment provided. And actually, if you could keep that there a little bit, just that image right there. So you see Urban Farms, Melodic Connections, Just Brew. These are all under the umbrella of the Ken Anderson Alliance. So, which we've talked about a lot, but just a foundation that supports autistic adults and help those individuals with a community, basically. So just make sure you RSVP. Great thing. We will have the Bengal bus there all day Thursday. I think Dell Hall's going to be up there as well. Ken Anderson will be in attendance. I think he'll be part of that ribbon cutting ceremony as well. So that is a free event, guys. It's really not even a fundraiser, just more of just kind of getting recognition on our new facilities. But go ahead and make sure you get on there and register if you can make it. I know it's during a work day. But if you can't make that this Thursday, on July 25th, they have a Ken Anderson Alliance Writing and Rocking for Autism from 1 to 4 o'clock that day. I don't have all the details on it. I would urge you to go to their website and make sure you look at the details on that. That right there, I think there's a fee of $75 that goes to the foundation. But that's a really cool event as well. So make sure you check that out. That's Sunday, July 25th. That's coming up here very soon. So make sure you get on the website. All the information and details are there for you on that as well, guys. Okay. So as these things pop up, no matter who the foundation is, but we're going to try to keep the best we can to consolidate these Bengal players, charities, whether it be current players or former players, and see what we can do as a fan base to provide additional support for them and what they're doing. Because, it's funny as you hear, people that will talk about, the Reds and Bengal players, what are they really doing in the city and the community? Guys, these players and these teams do a lot in this community. And, it's hard to quantify all that, but you should see all the stuff that these guys do in town, man. It's an amazing thing. It's really fun and really cool to see. And not just current players. We have players that played in the 70s and 80s that still live in town. The Munozes of the world, the Ken Anderson of the world. I could go on and on. Fulcher and all these other guys who have charities right here in our city, and it benefits our city. It's a really cool thing to see. So me and Josh got together yesterday and had a few coldies up at 16 lots. So Josh, let's talk about our event here, the first ever Bengal Jim and Friends Memorabilia show at 16 lot. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know we're still a way off, but let's talk about a little bit more what we talked about yesterday.
Okay, so I actually had the chance to go to 16 lots for the first time. Great food, great beer, and I'm not just saying that. I enjoyed all of it. Had some pizza, some breadsticks, some tacos, tried a few beers. It's great. So on August the 28th, what we are doing is the Talking Bengal Jim and Friends Memorabilia show. We're going to do it live from 16 lots in Mason, Ohio. We want you to come out. We want you to have a beer, drink some food, drink a beer, eat some food. But most importantly, it's a memorabilia show, not where you buy memorabilia, but we share memorabilia. We want you to bring an item with you that means something to you. Come up and meet us. Share, kind of like a show and tell. Show your item. I know I keep going back to this, but the guy with like the Andy Dalton autographed 8x10 where his son is in the picture. That is an item that he'll have and cherish forever. His son will have and cherish forever. We love those stories, and we want you to bring those items and share that story with not just us, but with all these other Bengals fans. We're trying to build a Bengals family. These events, I've met some great people in the last 3 events I've been to with these guys. I want to keep meeting more. We're building a monster here in Cincinnati. So, we got a fan base that is unmatched. We just need to start showing it, and so you're going to come out on August 28th, and we have a couple other things going on that night, a couple surprises we can't really tell you yet, but there are some big ones coming. Yep. David Fulcher is going to be in the house, so we have a couple things going on that are going to proceed for his charity. He'll be there, meet and greet, some autographs and pictures. I know Hollis is going to have some of his prints that I've shown that everyone loves. He's going to have some of those there for sale. I'm going to have a couple things for sale for Fulcher's charity. We're going to have an awesome Bengals memorabilia display for you guys. Some of the rare stuff we haven't even shown on this show. We found an awesome wall. We're going to put that on. You'll be able to walk through, at least see it, take pictures of it. We'll have, show and tell about that. We're going to have a small table where you can bring items that you want to buy, that you want to sell, that you want to trade, meet other Bengals fans. At 7 o'clock that night, they're having a trivia contest that's all about the Cincinnati Bengals. So they'll have some prizes for that. We got a lot of great giveaways. We're going to do a duck race with some great items the week before that'll profit David Fulcher's charity. And it's just going to be an awesome night, man. A really laid back night where we can all meet each other to share great Bengals stories. And if you're not there, man, you're going to miss out. This is going to be a great opportunity. And I am so looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and just to let everybody know, Tom is not eligible for the trivia prizes. He is not eligible for that at all. Sorry, Tom.
Deacon Turner.
See, he already knows the answers.
I've heard if you buy Tom a beer, he'll spit an answer at your table, though. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, we are going to stream. Now, for folks that cannot make it that night, we're going to stream that show live that night from 5 to 7 o'clock. Show will be over at 7, but we're going to stay there at the 16 lots, and we're going to have pizza and beers and trivia, and just like Josh said, just very informal meet and greet. And I think it's very important to emphasize what Josh was saying here. Everybody has a ton of memorabilia, or even if you don't have a ton of memorabilia, you have that one piece that you have that special story about. And when Josh and I were talking about that, I was like, man, what am I going to, Josh and I are going to have our own stuff as well. I was like, man, I got so much stuff, man. I'm not sure what, but I have something on my wall that I'm going to share that night. And there's a special, I didn't even think about it. Josh pushed me on it, right? And I'm like, I don't know any good stories. And I got a bunch of stories about a lot of stuff here in this museum. But there's a special story about something I have on my wall here, and I can't wait to share that with everybody. I never really thought about it, but it's a great story, and I've never really shared it with anybody, so I'm going to be able to do that here at some point.
We're doing that August 17th, guys?
No, the 28th.
28th.
8/28. We did post a very basic image with some information on that. We actually, on Facebook, we set up an event that you can RSVP. I just set that up a couple days ago. So just, make sure you get on there and RSVP, and if Jamie can get in, we're going to send the Bengal Jim helicopter his way and fly his ass back. So
yeah, okay.
But very least, we're going to get Jamie will be in for a game this year. We're hoping so.
Yes,
there is also there's a home game the next day where the Bengals are playing the Dolphins in the last preseason game. So you can make a weekend out of it, man. Come up to 16 lots, grab a hotel room, go to the game the next day.
And like Josh said, there is going to be let's just say this. There's going to be a very, very special beer you're going to want to buy that night. So we'll leave it at that. That'll be the closest thing to a hint I could possibly give you, but very excited about what Dell and Mike and everybody there at 16 Lot is doing. And I'm telling you, there's going to be some surprises. There will be some other Bengal players sharing their stories, whether they're in person or virtually. So we'll have fun with that. 828. We're still a ways off on that, guys, but we wanted to share that with you.
Is this mystery beer Dell endorsed?
It is. Yeah, definitely Dell endorsed.
If you guys show up to this event, you're going to have a souvenir to take home. You're going to be able to start a man cave if you don't have one.
Yep, true that. Good thing. All right, guys. So let's get into. So Shayne's going to be on here in about 5 to 7 minutes. So we want to talk to Josh about. We've got some memorabilia tonight, and it's all focused on Shayne Graham. And guys, I mean, for years we all watched Shayne Graham. He had a hell of a career here in Cincinnati, and he's right now he's coaching for Florida, and he's going to actually talk about Evan McPherson, our kicker here, as well. But let's do some memorabilia around Shayne Graham here. We got some good stuff here, Josh.
Absolutely. Shayne Graham is my guy, man. I mean, I'm a Bengals fan, but I started watching in 93, so this is my prime, the 05 Bengals. I love Shayne Graham. My first trip to training camp ever, all the cheerleaders had Shayne Graham jerseys on, and I was like, this is the guy right here. You know what I mean? So right here, we have a Shayne Graham bobblehead. That's one of a kind. That is my custom that Hollis did for me. I represent that very nicely down here in the man cave on my Bengals Legends bobblehead shelf. Hollis gets on me about that because the mold I gave him has a left-footed kicker. Shayne Graham's a right-footed kicker. Hollis didn't want to do it. That's how specific this guy is to details. But that's my Shayne Graham custom one-of-one bobblehead. And if you go on, Jamie, to the next image, this is a very common one that a lot of Bengals fans might have. This goes back to the 2004 season. Burger King did the bobblehead collections for 2 years in a row. And on the second year, they put Shayne Graham in the collection. So you find a lot of those running around flea markets and eBay, but Shayne Graham and his orange Bengals jersey there. Those are the very lightweight plastic ones that they made. Very cool bobblehead piece. I'm glad that Shayne Graham got in that collection. Okay, so for 3 straight years, the Journal newspaper did these medallion collections. So how the medallion collection would work is on the very first day of the program, you would go and you would get your album with a copy of the Journal News. And then for about anywhere from 14 to 25 days after that, they ran a promotion. You would go in the morning, you'd buy a Journal newspaper, and somewhere in the sports section, they had a coupon to get a medallion. So Shayne Graham was at least, I think he's in all 3 years. You cut the coupon out of the Journal News, you went back up to the counter, and for a couple bucks, you could buy the medallion that stick in your album. I'll actually show the whole album next week, the ones that I have. But I noticed that Shayne Graham's medallions were in all those and pulled those out to show you guys. Next up, this is the 2005 AFC North Championship ball. It's on a Shayne Graham tee that he signed for me. They gave those balls to executives, all the suits that worked for the Cincinnati Bengals the year that they clinched the first AFC North title, went to the playoff game against the Steelers. But that ended up on eBay somehow, and I was able to pick it up. But figured I'd put it on the Shayne Graham tee there to display that. Up next, we have the 2005 AFC North Division pennants. There were 2 different versions of those pennants. Shayne Graham was just such a huge part of that team that year that got us where we needed to be, 11-5. We know how it ended with Carson Palmer's knee that season, which was still heartbreaking to this day. But there was actually 2 different versions of those pennants. Windcraft made one, and Rico International Trends made the other. And then as you go to the next page, there's the 2009 AFC North Division champions, both versions of that as well from those 2 respective companies. Once again, Shayne Graham had leading us to those playoff games. And last but not least, this is my favorite Shayne Graham item here. So Kickin' Cayenne Pepper Hot Sauce. These came out for us to support their charities around 2005, 2006. It's 3 different bottles of hot sauce. The first one features Jim Breach, the kicker in the 80s, Doug Pelfrey, the kicker from the 90s, and that middle bottle there, and our boy Shayne Graham on the end in the early 2000s. All of their likenesses are on those bottles. I think Jimmy told me that he showed these pictures to Shayne Graham. He's like, I forgot about the hot sauce.
So explain this. So I remember these damn things, but were they all the same flavor? Or were they hotter? What was it?
I had 2 sets, right? So I ate one and saved the other. They're all the same sauce. It's the same sauce in all 3 of those bottles.
Okay.
It's like a cayenne Tabasco. It's pretty hot for real.
That's cool stuff. I'm sure that's stuff people haven't seen before or haven't seen in a while and just forgot about them. So thanks for sharing those, Josh. So Shayne is in the waiting room. We're getting him on here just a second. Thanks for sharing that memorabilia with us, Josh. Wanted to give a quick update before Shayne come on. You know, as we've been talking about the Jungle to the Hall event we had here back on June 19th, I've been communicating with a few of the senior voters, 9 senior voters, as we've been talking about. They still do not have their ballots from the Hall of Fame to do their votes on the one senior that's going to get in. They're going to nominate and come up with one. So as of yesterday, I was told they still don't have those ballots. So I will kind of keep you guys updated on a weekly basis where things are, or at least what they're communicating to us, because they will get those ballots. Those 9 senior voters will vote and decide on one senior that's going to go in. That nominated player will get voted on in February. So whoever gets nominated out of that senior committee is going to get voted in here in February. So more to come. I wish I had more detail on it. They're not going to be very transparent with this stuff. And even, as I talked to Ken Riley II and some other folks that, they're not going to be very upfront about this stuff at times, but we'll keep you updated as best we can as we go through the process. So let's go ahead and bring on our guy, Shayne. Is Shayne still in the waiting room?
Yes, sir.
Shayne, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. You made it, bro. I know you've been traveling, man. Thanks for you. Was your wife driving? I'm sure she was speeding to get you here on time, right?
Oh, no, I was driving. It took us about, 12 hours. It's supposed to be a 10-hour drive, but we made it 12.
Oh, shit. So, well, hey, Shayne, welcome. We appreciate you, buddy. We have thousands of folks right now watching on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook right now. So for everybody, we've got some guys that watched you play forever. The Bengals, you played with the Bengals from 2003 to 2009. And Shayne, currently you're with Florida, right? You're special teams. Is it quality control coach?
Yeah, essentially it just means I'm the assistant special teams coach. So,
okay.
Where the coordinator in the NFL does all the coordinating with an assistant and whatever staff they have. In college, you usually have a coordinator that, for the most part, coaches a position, and then they coach the special teams. So that's where my position comes in, to basically do a lot of the other work that they just don't have the time to do. And that's basically kind of paying my dues and grooming me for when I have my entire coordination of a team whenever that day comes across.
Got it. Shayne, I'm sorry. We're going to put you on full screen again. And we're big about memorabilia here, brother. That jersey frame in the background, all those jerseys, that is badass, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's heirloom framing. Put that together for me about a year or so ago, I guess.
Yeah, actually, one of those guys that is from Heirloom Framing is watching the show right now and pointing that out.
I see him making the comment on it.
That is pretty cool. They're pretty cool. So Shayne, I don't know if you ever watched the show before, but hey, we will never put you in a bad spot, but we might make you squirm a little because we found some videos and some pictures of you, Shayne, and we're going to walk back. We're going to start in your high school days, and I think you know what's coming. So we got video 1 here, Jamie. Let's go ahead and start here, guys. This is going to be a blast. So first video, real quick, is 1992, Pulaski County High School. A very young and very small 14-year-old freshman, Shayne Graham, kicks the game winner to send his team to the state championship game. Let's watch that video.
December of 1992, Shayne Graham, a 14-year-old freshman at Pulaski County High School, booted a 22-yard game-winning field goal in the state semifinals to beat Robinson and propel the Cougars to the state title game, where they beat Thomas.
Hold us. Freeze that right there. Freeze it. Shayne, did you work out as a freshman? What's going on there, brother? You were a chick magnet, weren't you?
Did I work out? Yes. Did I have the testosterone count of a 5-year-old? Yes. I had not seen one flicker of puberty at that point. So I grew 10 inches. I went from 5'2" to just about 6 foot in high school. So I was a late bloomer, we can say.
Yeah, no problem, man. That's great. Thanks for being a good sport with that, man. I know I said it just to let everybody know. I would never put one of our guests in a position like that. So I did shoot that to him earlier just to get the okay, so he wouldn't get too mad and hunt me down and kick me. But that was cool, man. That was really cool. As a freshman, you set all kinds of high school records, and I misrepresented some records because I think Wikipedia, wherever I got those records from, were a little off. They were more, but
whatever, it is what it is.
but that's cool, man. I found some really fun videos. Couldn't play them all, but I wanted to play that one. So we went through high school, had a hell of a high school career, set all kinds of records. But I have to play one short video clip, Shayne, from 1999, and I remember watching this game. Miracle in Morgantown, Virginia Tech at the time, I think was 7-0, battling for the a spot in the national championship. You guys are down 20-19, losing to West Virginia in Morgantown with a few seconds left, and you come on the field for what had to be the biggest field goal of your career at that point. And let's play this video, 1999, the Miracle in Morgantown.
Title holds alive from 44 yards. It's long enough. It is right down the middle. Good for Shayne Graham. There's time in Blacksburg.
I think originally I turned to the left towards the West Virginia side.
Shayne, talk about that. I don't know if they remember that or not, but I remember watching that game. That gives me goosebumps watching that damn thing, Shayne.
Well, it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I feel the same way. So basically, that was a year that we had a great team. I mean, so many pieces fell together for us, being kind of a small market, a team that never really had been in national prominence for the most part. We had a quarterback some people may have heard of called Michael Vick, who actually had a big play during that drive and actually put that whole drive together to put us in position. Very entertaining watch, just to watch the whole drive, honestly, because he really had a big part in that. But that was a game where before the game started in pregame, we knew we were the third-ranked team. Penn State was number 2, and Florida State was number 1. And we knew that if Penn State and Florida State did not lose that year, that we had no chance of climbing to be up in the top 2 for the national championship. So during pregame, we found out that Penn State got upset by Minnesota. So we were like, oh, my God, this is our chance to move up. So I don't know that played into why that game got as close as it was, because, we had kind of started to pull away, and then, a fumble and another fumble and just a couple miscues here and there. And all of a sudden West Virginia's back in the game and, goes ahead with a minute 15 left, and we were able to drive down and get the field goal. But, that's obviously a very, very strong memory for, the things that have gone on in my career. It definitely stands out, but there are a lot of other kicks that rank up there with it. I think the first game winner I had in Cincinnati, I believe it was in 2004, against Miami on Sunday night, the first primetime game we had played since the 90s, I believe.
Yep, we're gonna get to that one. I got that video for you, Shayne.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one. So that was cool, man. I just really wanted at least you talk about that Virginia Tech or that Miracle Morgantown, because I remember watching that game, sitting at the house by myself watching some football. But let's get from college. Let's get to the NFL, man. It's in 2003. The Bengals pick you up as a free agent. So you played with the Bengals from 2003 to 2009. And so 2003, you come in as a free agent and you play all 16 games, and you hit like 88% of your field goals, which was a franchise record your first year, dude. 2005, you had 131 points, franchise record. First Cincinnati Bengal in history to go to the Pro Bowl, and I think you're all-pro there that year as well. 2005, you set a record for the most tackles by a Bengals kicker. So talk about that, Shayne. That's not good that you're making that many damn tackles in a game. But
let's just say that year I did not lead the league in touchbacks. Well, I'll say this. During that time, we were kicking from the 30-yard line, and no, I was not the most consistent or strongest kickoff player. So, you know, there were chances where the ball could come out, and, you know, it just happened that year. I don't think it was necessarily that we didn't have good coverage on special teams, because we always really did, but we played Josh Cribbs twice a year, every year. You know, we played some really good returners that year. And I think it just happened to play out that so many of the guys we played against were just had such good return games that, you know, I ended up being in position. And I always felt like I never wanted to be a kicker that was like lagging down the field way behind everybody. I wanted to try to, you know, have the correct leverage. And I used to practice it when we would do the kickoff return team. I would service and run down for the scout kickoff team, and I would actually practice leveraging myself to be in the right position to make tackles. And it was something that I worked out with the returners so that they could always practice putting the move on me in case they ever needed to practice that in the game. So I think just the combination of us working with each other, making ourselves better, put me in position to be able to not get juked out or beat to the sideline or whatever type of leverage that you have to play in that situation. And probably a little bit of luck, because, I mean, I was, you know, 6 foot, 200 pounds. I wasn't the smallest guy in the world, but yet, you know, I sure as heck was not the fastest guy in the world. So if I wasn't in position and actually able to kind of make a fit like a linebacker or safety might have to do on a running play, that's kind of how I had to be prepared, was like kind of in that second level as they came through all the blocking that they had set up for them. I had to be there to fill that hole because there wasn't always going to be someone blocking me.
Right. So we got a couple quick videos here for you. And I can't remember what order. I think, Jamie, which one do you have next? Video number 4?
Number 4, yep.
Yeah, go ahead and play that one.
Bengals with a chance to win. Shayne Graham from 39 yards away. Yes, Carson Palmer made it happen. That's right, 7 for 8 for 53.
So there it is, man. So that was your first game winner in Cincinnati against the Miami Dolphins, a 39-yarder on Sunday Night Football, Shayne. So it sounds like you remember that one pretty vividly.
Well, it's odd. I actually remember every field goal I've ever kicked. And there are people that have questioned me on it, and I might get a couple of them mixed up, but for the most part, I really can remember almost every field goal I've ever kicked. But
wow.
No, I remember that because I think earlier that game, on that same goalpost, I missed a 36-yarder. And then later in that game, we had that opportunity to go down. And, you know, I remember when I hit it, like what a relief it was to get that like off my shoulders, because I had not had a chance to really kick a game-winning field goal since I've been in the NFL. And it was just a nice feeling to have. And I just remember you know, the weight off my shoulders, but yet just a really cool feeling to have everyone have expectations of you and to actually like take the brunt of those expectations and fulfill it, you know, and you know, we can get into whatever you guys want to get into, but as good as that feeling is, it's still 1/10 of how strong that other side of that feeling is. So like when you miss that kick, and it happened a few times in Cincinnati, it's 10 times stronger. So it's like when you get those moments, you have to cherish them, because we do tend to dwell and kind of beat ourselves up over those bad ones. So I definitely remember every single thing about that night. So
that's cool. So last video here, I remember every one of these games. I don't remember all your kicks, Shayne, but I was watching every single one of them, whether I was there or watching it on TV for away games. So the next video I thought was a crazy game against the Baltimore Ravens. If you could play this last video here, Jamie.
They set this thing up right up for Shayne Graham, second quarter, 34-yard field goal. Bengals take a 3-0 lead. All right, and then they're nearing halftime, 19-yard field goals for time.
Let's see another field goal.
Third quarter now is Graham, 22-yard field goal. Sound like Rain Man. More. Fourth quarter, Bengals up 9-0. Definitely Shayne Graham field goal, 12-0.
Repeat.
Next Bengals possession, 10 minutes to Wapner. Graham
more than that.
5:50 left. Graham,
Is that all you got?
field goal, 18-0. And 7th field goal of the day. Holy Rob Baronis bat, man. 33 yards, it's good. And Shayne Graham, thanks for playing.
Good job.
Well, the Ravens
21 points. At no point, if you see the score, would you think there'd be 7 damn field goals, Shayne? But so talk about that. That's crazy. 7 field goals. Every point scored by you.
So the funny thing is by the 5th field goal, their fans were actually cheering me when I would come back over to the net, because I had someone over there yelling at me that I was on their fantasy league and to keep racking points up for him. And then another funny story from that actual game, and actually where the camera kind of finished that whole little video you had, it had me by the net with the little holder device beside of it. As I was warming up, kicking one of the balls in the net, Chad Johnson walks over and yanks the net out of the way real quick, and the ball goes sailing down the sideline.
That sounds like something Chad would do.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's great. Well, hey, thanks. I found a bunch of videos. I just didn't want to go any further with more than 4 videos here, but I just picked a couple of those games out. That was great. So, Tom, I know you have a few questions here as well.
Shayne, congratulations on the posting down in Florida.
Thank you.
As you're coaching down there, the guy that sort of brought you to Cincinnati, I know the fans here are very thankful we still have him, and he's respected widely around the NFL. What can you tell us about Darren Simmons as he brought you in, 5 days before the opener in 2003, and become, maybe the finest kicker in franchise history? But what are your memories of Darren Simmons, and what have you learned and used from him today?
So I met Darren at the Senior Bowl when I was coming out of college. He was the assistant in Carolina behind Scott O'Brien. And then I met him again at the Combine. And then, I think the next time I saw him was maybe another year maybe or so. Maybe it was, it might have been pregame maybe when I played for Buffalo. I don't know if we played Carolina or not that year. I think we did. And I may have seen him in pregame, but he was with the Carolina Panthers as the assistant. And they ended up bringing me in when John Casey got hurt, like week 4, 3, 4, something of 2002. So I kind of got to be around him a good bit and spent some time with him. Actually, when I drove past the exit he used to live off of today, I took a picture of it and sent him a text message. And he said, "Hey, I used to live on that exit." I was like, "I know. That was the exit that you lived on, and when you had an ice storm that year in 2002, a tree branch fell through the roof of your house." So, and he was surprised at my memory of that. But when he ended up getting the coordinator position in Cincinnati, it just so happened that Neil Rackers kind of had a knee injury going on that happened that preseason. I think chasing an errant snap on a field goal, and he kind of went down funny on his knee. And I don't believe Travis Dorsch, if he was still there. I don't know if he was still there or not. I don't think that it really progressed out to him being able to play. So that's when they made the move to bring me in right before the first game against Denver in 2003. But, we already kind of had established relationship. And then I think it was a matter of building trust with one another when I first got there. And I don't think it took a whole lot of time for us to do that. By the end of the season, I felt like I had done pretty well. And, it kind of played out to where I was becoming a restricted free agent after that 2003 season. And Cincinnati had told me before the season was over they wanted to extend me. And I had never had a team ever tell me they wanted to extend me. It was always, "Hey, you did a good job in camp, but we're going to go with someone else." It was always kind of what I'd gone through up to that point. So finished that season. They actually don't extend me. They offer me what's like a second or third level tender. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but Jacksonville ended up offering me a contract called an offer sheet. And then within 24 hours, Cincinnati matched it, and I stayed in Cincinnati. And I was very happy to do so because I had enjoyed being with that staff and being with that team. I felt like we had built something really special that first year in 2003 when I was there. And, everything, for the longest time was was climbing towards being on top of the world, and there were a few bumps that happened midway and towards the end of it especially. But, I always found my time in Cincinnati with Darren and most all my teammates I found to be special with every one of them. And I value my experiences there so much that I wanted to retire as a Bengal. That was why I wanted to do that when I was finished with all the other teams I played for.
Right. Very cool. Tom, did you have another one?
Well, you mentioned you remember all your kicks. One that I still smile about and have a lot of fun with people that live in the northern end of the state is the 2009 overtime kick to beat the Browns. And especially Coach Ryan, who I think is still whining about.
Yeah. So him and I butted heads. We were together on in New Orleans, and I had to bust his chops over that a few times because everybody that was on the field saw the angle and saw that it really wasn't even as close as the TV view makes it look like. So there's never a camera view looking straight up at a goalpost. There's never a camera view from right behind the goalpost and the angle of the ball. You have a camera view that's in the middle. So if the ball's going one way or the other, it's hard to see it as far as was it good or not. And I've seen all the people that have posted pictures where they circle it and they say it's here, it's there, and all their, internet forensic investigations that they can do now, I guess. But it was good. It wasn't really even that close. But
no, it was. It was good.
The one thing that Darren always told me is how many footballs can you fit between the goalposts? And I think it measures out to be like 30 something. I don't know. Somebody can do the math. I'm not going to do it. He would always just say, just pick one and put it down the middle. So
sounds easy.
Everyone always says, if you put it down the middle, it's never close. So in a perfect world, that's what we would do every time, right?
I was up there for that game, and then the reason I was relaxed about it is it went up. It was relatively close, but I thought it went through. But you always look at the bottom, and the referee under that pylon looked at the other referee. They both nodded, and he put his hands up. So
yeah, and if you look, everyone behind, like on the field where we were, all immediately threw our hands up. And only the guys that were kind of off to the side for Cleveland were doing that, or the guys that were just hoping for a back.
Hey Shayne, we don't use that word on the show. It's city up north.
City up north. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I know some schools that do that with other schools, like the school that doesn't have the first letter of the alphabet on their name and they have an X over it.
Yep, pretty much. Well, hey, I know, Josh, I know you have something.
Yeah, I got one. It's a little bit of Bengals folklore. So Shayne, from my age group, you're my kicker, man. You're my guy. But in 2009, in a preseason game, I don't remember what your exact injury was, but another guy had to come off the bench. Chad Ochocinco, in a preseason game, hits a kick. Can you tell about that story and anything that we don't know about that, maybe?
Okay. So I had a little bit of a groin tweak kind of earlier in camp or whatever. It wasn't that big of a problem. We're going through pregame warm-up, and I just started feeling it like each kick kind of more and more, enough to the point where it was like, okay, I had this happen a couple years ago. I know what it felt like when it got to a certain point. I don't want to miss some of the regular season by pushing this thing till it's serious. So I went up to coach after the game or after pregame and was like, hey, this isn't going to happen. Like literally my last kick, like I felt we just can't do this. So he was like, all right, well, I guess if we get down there, we'll let Chad kick. And the story behind why they let Chad kick is because we had a thing every Friday for every year I was there called Celebrity Field Goal on Friday. So Fridays were kind of a relaxed practice where at a certain point, there was a sign-up sheet on the board where people on the team could sign up to kick a field goal at the end of the field goal period so that it would just be a fun thing and somebody could, maybe there was dollar amounts if you made it, and if you backed up and made it, you got certain dollar amounts. Well, a lot of guys actually had made it. A lot of guys didn't come close at all. And Chad was able to put a couple through. Now, that game, if you would imagine who on the team is going to campaign the most to give them that kick, you can all imagine who would be the one that would be in coach's ear the most. So it just so happens we score, we get the PAT, we make it. I think the other team I don't know if New England either hit 2 field goals or hit a kick and tried to go for 2. I don't know exactly why they ended up with 6, but it was the game-winning PAT. And, of course, everyone just thought, well, now Chad's going to be hard to live with because, it was funny. He did come out, like, on one of those talk shows and say he could go from 57 yards, which I love you, Chad, but I know better. And, but that PAT was absolutely a perfect hit. He hit that ball as well as he had ever hit any other ball. And I think in a pinch, he could be that guy, just like a Wes Welker or a Ndamukong Suh was able to hit one in a game one time. I think he could have been that guy, and he did. So I think it worked out well for him, and it helped expand his legacy and the Ocho Cinco lore.
So just to let you know, Shayne, I can picture it right now. I'm going to have the video up of his field goal, and you picture down the bottom left-hand corner, just saying what you were just saying about Chad. I'm going to be tagging Chad in this, so you can expect a phone call or text message from him. I guarantee you. That's good.
I wish I could have coached him up a little bit because the way he took his steps, to measure off the kick, he's not even facing a goalpost. He walks away from it and then turns around and steps over sideways. And it's if you were a kid at one of my kicking camps or private lessons, I would have tweaked a few things, but I knew better. I knew Chad had a background in kicking a soccer ball, so I had a feeling he would be just fine.
That's good. That's good. Let's go to a few viewer questions. Shayne, thanks for being here with us. Just a few more minutes, and we'll let you off here, man. We appreciate your time, buddy.
No problem.
I think Tom's got a quick question, then we'll do the viewer.
Yeah, real quick. We've been talking about the past, Jimmy, but in regards to the future, Shayne, you sent us what looks like a very, very impressive gift. Somebody that for the next 10 to 12 years is going to take care of our kicking position. What can you tell us about Evan?
Well, the one thing I can tell you is physically he's very gifted. He has a very explosive, just consistent swing that he hits a really good rotating ball that cuts through the wind well, and just solid contact, very consistent, way better than I was at his age. I can tell you that as far as how consistently he hits a good ball. And, no one is ever going to be perfect, but I feel like with the way he consistently hits a ball, if he refines things as he continued to refine them his whole career, if he learns from the days that aren't the best days and gets over the bad days and just is able to learn and just exponentially grow, he has potential to be an all-timer. And, he's so mentally strong and doesn't let things get him too high and doesn't let things get him too low. And I think that's what's going to make the kickers, and especially in today's world where they're all physically much better athletes than kickers were in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, kickers are just becoming such a better athlete than they used to be, that, the physical ability that you see when someone kicks a ball, they're all getting stronger. They're all getting more consistent. But it's the mental, it's the 7 inches between your ears of figuring out, not getting too confident and not getting too low. And when you figure out when you get too confident, then you can't handle the bad things when they happen. And if you get down, you can never really build your confidence back up very easily. So he just stays right down the middle. He's very relaxed. I bet if you put a heart monitor on him, it'd probably put out 52 the whole game and hardly go up at all or go down at all.
Yeah, that's Shayne, that's interesting, man, because there's been a hell of a lot of kickers that you probably been around have just cannons for legs, right? But between the ears, even for a kicker, is probably more important than any other position on that team, you would think, because, if you let it get to you, you're just going to let it snowball and it's going to get worse.
Well, you just look at kicking in the NFL in general, because everybody that comes out of college and makes it into an NFL camp, everyone has a strong leg. every kicker in the NFL can line up a 60-yarder and have the strength to make it. What makes people stand apart is if you take a guy that has a really good college career, you're like, oh, he's just going to be really good in the NFL. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that, because if you look at the physical ability of kicking a field goal in the NFL, technically it's easier than college. And where people may not understand that, it's that the goalposts are the same size, right? The goalposts are the exact same distance apart. The only difference is in the NFL, the hashes are actually closer in.
Right.
Okay. Not only are they closer in, but you have a better snapper than you had in college for the most part, on average. You have a holder that spends more time and is usually a better holder than what you might see in college. So that part's fine. Then you have grass that's almost like a golf fairway most of the time until you get into the late parts of the season. There's a city up north that gets a little chewed up sometimes. There's another city up north and a little east of that gets a little chewed up that time of the year because they played like 3 games a week on it. But where those 3 rivers all tend to meet in the same area. But, for the most part, the grass is all very well manicured. You're playing on turf. So you're getting to deal with like the best conditions you can have. It's the I could get fired tomorrow. That's where it comes. If I miss this, I could get fired. If I miss this, I'm going to see five guys come in the locker room with roller bags on Tuesday. Then they're going to go out on the field. And then when they come back off the field, 4 of those guys are going to roll out of the locker room. And you could be carrying your stuff out of your locker in a black trash bag while that one guy's unloading his roller bag into your locker.
Crazy. So, Jamie, let's go to a few viewer questions if you could.
Yeah, I got a good one here from AJ. He asks, I saw you at a Buffalo Bills preseason game giving it back to some hecklers. I thought it was awesome, and you were the only player doing that. Was this something you did often?
I don't remember exactly what I may or may not have been saying, but I think, was it there or here?
At Buffalo preseason.
At Buffalo. Well, see, that was the first team I played for. So I don't know if they were making some joke with me and I felt comfortable. I never really ever talked trash. That wasn't it. But I would be funny when I got heckled, I tried to be funny back. I remember getting heckled at Dallas one time, and I forget what they were saying, but because I looked like Opie Taylor, that was kind of a nickname I had was Opie Taylor. And, the red hair, I've even got a Southern accent. A lot of people kind of pick up on that. So they were asking me where I got my kicking shoe in Mount Pilot. And if you watch the Andy Griffith Show, you would understand why that was funny. And I told them that I got it from Old Man Kelsey's store. So they understood it. I understood it. So we had a lot of fun with it. But a lot of younger people might not understand that. We're Old Man Kelsey's store or Old Man Kelsey's Creek.
Yeah, if you hung around Chad at all, I'm sure you did a little trash talking, Shane. Come on.
Well, in fun around the locker room, like I remember walking down the hallway one time and he just grabbed my phone out of my hand and he's like, "Who's this?" He's like, I bet I could beat you, but you couldn't cover me. And he didn't even have any idea who it was.
Oh, man.
All right, we had a few people asking the same question. I'll just throw this one up. Which game would you say is your most memorable game? I know you said earlier you remember all your kicks. What would be your most memorable game, do you think?
I think it would have to be – it's a tie. It's a tie between the Baltimore 7 field goal game, and I think it was the 2005. It might have been 2005 or 2000. It was 2005. The team from Northern Ohio came down to play against us. And I remember it came down to a field goal on the last play of the game. And I remember on the drive going down to kick the field goal, we almost forgot to call the timeout. And I don't know why, I don't know what, because that was not my position to call the timeout. So I just remember seeing TJ running off the field, like, who's calling a timeout? Like the clock was literally running down, and then somebody finally called it with like 1 second left. And then I think it was a 37 or a 32-yarder on the right hash heading away from the river on the last play to win the game.
Good stuff. So,
and it may have even been on my birthday. I know it was in December, but it could have been on my birthday.
All right, that's good stuff. Well, Shayne, just a couple quick things here. I think we've had you a little bit longer than I told you. I apologize, but I do have to ask you just two quick ones here.
Okay.
Somebody told us to ask you about your shoe collection.
I don't technically have a shoe collection, but
sure.
It's a little bit of a mess right now, so I might even show you guys. Will this thing flip around?
I don't.
Is it a laptop? No.
It just.
Those are.
Okay.
That
was a legit question then.
Yeah, we weren't sure to ask that.
So University of Florida is a Jumpman Jordan brand sponsored team. So I'll say between access to, I was a Nike sponsored player my whole career, and the fact that we have access to Jordans, it kind of helps have several different pair of basketball shoes that I've never played basketball.
And the last thing, Shayne, you were recently married, correct?
Yes.
So you weren't coming back from like your honeymoon just now, were you, to be on the show?
I'm in the midpoint. So I got married up north, and then came down to visit my family in Virginia and spend some time with the ones that couldn't travel up there.
Okay.
And then we're getting ready to go down to South Florida for a little while as well. Right. So I've got a couple-day break. I'm actually going to put some work in the office.
All right.
For a couple days.
Well, brother, from Houday Nation, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure you're marrying up just like all of us on the screen are. I'm sure you're marrying up. You got kicked your coverage, I'm sure.
Yes.
But brother, hey, it means a lot, man. You mean a lot to Bengals Nation out there. We watched you play for a lot of years here in Cincinnati, brother, and you're part of Cincinnati football history, Shayne. And we appreciate you being with us today, man. Thanks again so much, buddy.
Thank you very much. You know, I'll add one thing.
Yes.
At the end of 2009 season, when things ended on a dark note for me, I was so afraid that I thought everyone hated me. So it took me months and months and months before I came back into the city because I was so afraid of that. And I think I let it build up in my mind so much so that the first time I came back in the city and I went to dinner somewhere and someone came up and patted me on the back, and then someone saw them pat me on the back, so they came over, and it felt really good to know that there were still positive feelings and that I kind of probably mustered most of it up in my own head. So I think it wasn't fair that I put that on Cincinnati for my stuff to think that they felt that way about me. So it's very, very pleasing to hear that. And you know, I've really enjoyed being a part of, you know, especially recently. I'm fairly new to Twitter. I haven't been on it for a really long time, but you know, interacting with a lot of you guys has brought me a lot of joy because I kind of miss being a part of Houday Nation, and it's been fun to interact with a lot of you guys.
Shayne, this is a city that appreciates its great players and class acts, and you were both of them. So
Thank
that
you.
again tonight. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, well, thanks again, Shayne. If you get in town at all for a game, brother, we're to be the first one to buy you a beer, man. If you get in town, just let me know.
All right, that would be great.
All right, Shayne. Thanks again, buddy.
Good luck this season.
Houday, man.
Thank you very much.
See you.
Night.
Houday.
He was fun.
That was fun. That was fun. Now, hey, before we get into our wrap up here, we do have another special guest. Let's go live.
Fish.
You catching like crappie? What are you catching?
Is he rocking a mullet?
Yeah. You don't know I had a mullet?
I didn't. Well, I'm seeing it now.
Now we're seeing a silhouette of it. Now we just see. Yeah, look at that thing. It's growing out.
Pretty sweet.
Hey, Cannon, are you there?
Yeah.
Did you catch anything today?
Yes, I caught a 10-pound perch.
Yeah.
No. Wow.
Typical fish story.
Is that Jamie's house in the background there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Red sky is way back there. There's Jamie. You can see
There
him.
we go.
Get out there and wave to us, Jamie.
Yeah, right.
Didn't need me tonight. Sounded like that Shayne Graham interview was pretty cool.
Shayne was awesome. He was great.
Go back to fishing. You guys hold down the fort.
All right, man. Hey, have fun with the family.
Next
buddy.
week.
Catch a big one.
Be safe.
See ya.
Hey, Jimmy, if I could real quick, man, the 50th anniversary in 2017, Corey Dillon came back to Cincinnati. He did the autograph signing at the pro shop. He said to me, and in front of a bunch of other people, I was scared to come back here. I just thought that Cincinnati felt some type of way about me. And I don't want to say cried, but just was teary-eyed that he was so embraced by our fan base. And what Shayne just said, and I know there's so many Bengals players that feel that way. Carl Pickens refused to do the pro shop signings because he just didn't want to come back to Cincinnati. And it's funny that they feel that way, and then they get here and they just see the love that we still have for these guys. And it's just a shame that some of them feel that way.
You know what, Josh? You just really hit something. And if you remember a few weeks back, Willie Anderson has said this multiple times. He is pushing like Corey Dillon to get on social media, Pick to get on social media. The love that Bengals Nation is showing these guys is unbelievable. That's a great thing to bring up, Josh, because I think some of it is, sometimes things when the careers end don't go well. Something bad happened for them to get out of town, right? Missed a kick or throwing shoulder pads up in the stands or whatever that crazy situation was. But when time heals all wounds, and when you step back and take a look at it, Corey Dillon had an outstanding career here in Cincinnati. To be honest, I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer, in my opinion. That's why he's one of our 8 that we're talking about. Carl Pickens had his thing with the media, but people love Carl Pickens. Shayne Graham had made more kicks than he missed. His percentage was outstanding. But at the end of the day, a little bit of this is on the players too, right? They get that in their head and it just gets bigger over time. Yeah. And and I love hearing those stories. Shayne saying coming back in town, Willie saying these things, and Corey Dillon, and because that's what I'm. There's a lot of negative around social media, but there's a bunch of positives, and that's one of them for sure.
This is a fan base. We appreciate the guys that busted their butts. Not just for us as the fans, but for the rest of the city and the region too. And in all, I'm as old as the franchise, and there have been guys, leave under bad terms with management. But really, in the end, as things went full circle, I can only really think of one guy.
Damn it, Will.
Will's right on it. How about that?
Hold on. I said time heals all wound. Will, it's too soon for me and Carson.
Too soon. It has not been long enough.
He's got another decade.
That's a good one, Will. I knew you were going to throw that up, Jamie. I knew it. Well, let's go ahead and close this out tonight, guys. That was a lot of fun tonight, guys. So we'll start with the Josh. Thanks for filling in, man. You did an awesome job. Thanks, man. We appreciate you. But Josh, go ahead and close us out. Your closing thoughts tonight.
All right, closing thoughts. Shayne Graham was awesome. Thanks for coming out, Shayne. That was a great interview, great insight. Guys, fowling was awesome. It'll be back next year. Sam Hubbard told me, make sure you come out. As Jimmy said, we got another great event this Thursday for the Ken Anderson Alliance. That coffee shop, it employs adults with disabilities too. So that's just a great cause right there. And then the Rocking and Riding, or Riding and Rocking, I can't believe that's coming up later this month. Once again, August 28th, the Bengal Jim and Friends Memorabilia Show live from 16 Lots. Bring an item, bring your family, bring your friends, come out and meet us, show and tell. We love you guys. Who Day. We got 5 weeks, I think, or 25 days to the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game. And then I think 60 days from today till our first NFL kickoff. So I'm ready. Who Day, guys. Let's bring it, man. I'm excited.
Can't wait. Tom?
It's like Josh said, this coming Thursday, Ken Anderson Alliance Just Brew in beautiful Silverton. Come out, watch the ribbon cutting ceremony. And also don't forget later this month, Ring of Honor first class will be completely announced, and also the beginning of training camp. So, as a fan, just like for the Bengals themselves, it's go time. It's ready to get ramped up, and I think it's going to be a great season.
Jamie?
I really liked what Shayne said there at the end, where he wasn't sure about how people felt. I think as fans, we need to kind of keep that in mind when we're all angry about certain things that happen in games, that we go on social media right away and blast these guys. And these guys probably read a lot of this stuff. They're human too. Something to keep in mind when I'll probably forget it when the season starts, but hopefully hearing a player talk about the impact, stuff like that, I think it kind of makes you think twice about what you should say online.
Yep. Yeah, good point. That's great. That's good stuff. So, guys, just real quick, I won't take long. First of all, I just want to say thank everybody for watching. I know the folks who can't watch live within 24 to 48 hours, our number is more than triple because people are watching it the next day and late into the following evening. So thank you so much. This is not about us. This is by the fans for the fans. And I like the term Josh has been using here. This fan base, the momentum that we're building as a group of fans right now is going to be unmatched in the NFL, the way this is going, and the positivity and the things that are going on around us. I'm enjoying watching this build, and it's going to be fun. Even more fun as we continue to get closer to the season, get the season going here. I just, how people like watching. Why do people like? I'm not a big NASCAR guy. I know James is, but why do people like watching like car races? Do you know? Like, what's the only reason I would watch it?
The wrecks.
Yep, pretty much. Well, join us next week, because if you like train wrecks and maybe car crashes, we're going to be doing our first broadcast from 3 different countries. So Tony the Tiger, Carrie, myself, my wife, Brandon, and Hannah from Portsmouth, we're going to have a tailgate down in Cancun. We're there for 6 days. We're going to attempt to do a show from Cancun. Jamie's going to be in Canada. Everybody else is going to be back here in the Cincinnati area. So I think James is still out with the family next week. But we're going to try to do this. We have a couple special guests that are waiting on confirmation on, but we'll have that here the next couple days. But we're going to try to do this from Cancun. We'll see how it goes. And I promise you, I will not be never mind. I'm not going to be
so Tom and Josh, be prepared to have to carry this show, the 3 of us, next week.
All right. It's going to be fun. We're going to make it work. It always works out at the end of the day.
Fun.
Always works out at the end of the day, one way or the other, guys. So, guys, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. We will see you guys next week. And Hoo Day. See you guys.
Hoo Day.
Night.